Okay, Bismillah. Inshallah for this session, so it's already 3:31, right? Okay, in this session, to begin with, I'll just want to highlight and make sure that everything is okay for several things. First thing first, you have already, we have covered quiz number 1, right? And today we will have quiz number 2, inshallah. So the first question is, have you received your quiz number 1 in your email? And is there any issues with that? You have received, right? And one do not receive, because your answer script will be sent directly to the email that you use for your quiz submission. So with regard to this, just want to make sure everyone received their email. No, everyone received the quiz paper. And is there any issues before we move to other item? Just to make sure, because if this is okay, then inshallah that will be how you will be receiving back your quizzes. I think there's 1 or 2 students. I'm not sure from which section that that I don't know, but when you submit, you have to log in your email, right? So there should not be any problem. I'll be using that email. So everyone received, right? So I assume if no one says anything, everything is okay. So, okay then. So inshallah, so that's number 1. So the next thing is, okay, someone's still coming in. Okay, so that's just to check whether you have any problem to receive the email after it has been graded. Of course, a few of you may have noticed that if your submission is late, then the deadline, you will have that reduction of marks, right? Anyway, secondly, this is important. I'm just want to reiterate and re-emphasize this, that for anyone, that if you struggle with especially quiz number 1 that you have done and quiz number 2 today, do not delay and resolve it now. Do not wait until next week. Do not wait until the following week, because normally anyone who struggle with what we test in quiz number 1 and quiz number 2, it's very hard to pass the subject, really, because that's the fundamental and the starting point of most of the chapter that we will be learning, right? If you cannot get the correct force, then whatever we learn after this will just be incorrect, because your force will be wrong from the beginning, right? Especially for 3D, especially for the quiz today. But if you even struggle with quiz number 1, which is in 2D, please ask, please resolve anything that you do not understand or not certain, right? So that's I want really to highlight this from the very beginning, so that if you ask your seniors, you will know that this is not just to scare you. This is real, meaning that if you struggle with this, do not delay. Do not delay trying to fully understand this before end of this week, right? Fully understand this. All right. Today, inshallah, we will begin or start the group discussion or discussion in groups. I have already posted the links in Google Classroom. I've also mentioned about this in the Telegram group. So the function is for you to discuss whatever you need to discuss. And if you need, you can ask. So either way. So if you look at the link, of course, there's the main room, which is this one where you are listening to me. And then there are the smaller groups, right? Where the link is already given. So you go to your respective group. For those who choose to be in a group, you can discuss that, and if no one knows what's the answer or not sure about something, you can either come to the main room and we can discuss, or if it's I don't know, if you wish for me to join the group for that specific question and explain, feel free to do so. Just go to the main room, say that please join group number so and so, and I'll go into the link and join your group and see what need to be explained, right? So either or, as long as we achieve the objective of fully understanding what you need to understand. All right. So that's the function of the group. I believe for those who are already assigned to the group, you should be able to go into the group straight away, because your email is already linked to the group. But if you face any problem, any technicalities, do mention, do tell me, right? And finally, this is the final slide for the beginning before we'll give you the time to focus on your learning today. Is I wish and I hope everyone here have ikhlas in learning not only the subject but all our subject, of course. But specific for this subject, do have ikhlas. And what does it mean? Normally, we believe that we have ikhlas, right? But what do you mean when you have ikhlas in learning? And what will you do if you do not understand something? Now, if you define ikhlas as doing something for the sake of Allah, right? In Malay we say what? Buat kerana Allah, buat sesuatu kerana Allah, right? It is illogical and impossible for you to do something that you know Allah do not want you to do that, and then still do that and say you are doing with ikhlas, right? That's illogical. So if you have two options, option A and option B, and you know in your heart that Allah want me to choose option A, that's better for me. If you are ikhlas, confirm you will select that option. You will not go to the other option. Allah want me to do A, but I will do B instead and still be ikhlas. That is illogical, because if you choose for the sake of Allah, you will choose what Allah want you to choose, right? So I think in your heart you know. If you do not understand, if you have any question, ask yourself, does Allah want you to ask and make sure you understand, or keep quiet and do not understand, right? So you know the answer, and that's my point. Be ikhlas, so that if you have any question, ask question. If you keep quiet, if you keep silent, normally it's because of malu, shy, ego, whatever, right? So all of those are nafs, right? And we know that. So meaning that you are not doing for the sake of Allah, you are doing to protect your ego or whatever, right? So avoid that. Be ikhlas, inshallah, and that's the best way to go. For your own benefit here, of course, to understand, as well as the reward in hereafter, inshallah. So that's just my remark for this beginning. Any question before you can just go to your meaning, either your group, because some of you do not choose to be in group, so you can go through the material on your own. I will always be in this room, inshallah, if any question. And as I mentioned just now, if you in the group need me to jump into the group as well to resolve some issues, do let me know as well. I can simultaneously jump into any specific group if need be. All right, so if there's no question, I'll just leave your, yeah, we have a quiz at 4:30. Inshallah, the quiz will be for 20 minutes. So the question is for 20-minute question, plus the 5 minutes of processing. Any question? If you do not have any question, feel free to straight away go to your group or on your own, and come back here whenever you have a question. Wallahu alam. So I'll just be on standby, inshallah. Of course, if you have any question immediately, just ask straight away, no problem. Okay, so the question in the chat is for the magnitude of vector. For the magnitude of vector, is it compulsory to put unit? For the magnitude of vector, meaning if the question asks for a magnitude, is it? If any question asks for anything, the final answer for sure you have to specify what is the unit. If it's length, then meter, millimeter. If it's force, it's Newton, kilonewton, etc. Otherwise, you will only have half of the marks, because otherwise we do not know what do you mean by that number, right? So yeah, as a final answer, if any question asks for any specific thing, for sure the unit is compulsory. But in the intermediate calculation, it is advisable, um, although the marks, it depends on the marking scheme. But of course, for the final answer, or not even the final answer, meaning if the question asks for many things, so for every single thing that the question specifically asks, the unit is compulsory to be there. Hopefully that answer the question. You have any question?
Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam.
Uh, I think number one question I have. First of all, I'm Farhan Firdaus. Number one, how many marks reduction will be given here? For example, I give the answer in more significant figures than what the examiner needs. Or how I rephrase it, like the answer should be in around three significant figures, right? How about if I gave the answer in around five significant figures like that, Doctor? What would happen to my mark, and how do I avoid that kind of mistake?
For the final answer for any question, right? This
Yeah,
is
yes, final answer.
uh how many marks? All right. The For each, because this will depend on the, because if you want to ask how many marks in absolute, that will
Absolutely.
very much dependent on how many marks will be given in particular question as a whole, right? Because if the if the if the full mark of that final answer is like 2, compared if the full mark for that final answer is 5, obviously it will be different proportionately. Normally, generally speaking, normally in any final answer, uh, if you miss out the unit, half of the mark that can be gone. Meaning you will lose out half of the mark, of that final answer. You understand, right? Meaning not the whole
Oh yeah,
question,
yeah,
but the
yes,
final answer.
yes.
But for the significant figures, uh, it's between, because it will be very much dependent on the type of question. So it will be between uh, 0 to half of the mark of that final answer. Zero meaning that it is forgiven.
Forgiven.
Because it depends on the type of question. For example, uh, yeah, this is unless some question will specify quite implicitly that expectation, then obviously it's a violation, direct violation of what the question demand. It very much depend on the question, because depend on the question and the examiner. I have seen I have seen such thing will be deduct by half. By half, normally if the full mark is 2, it become 1 for the final answer. Rarely it's from 5 become 2.5, because maybe minus 1 or 2 in that case. But I have also seen that it is not penalized. So that's the maximum. That's the range that I can give based on experience, because this kind of things is more on, as we mentioned in the first class, is more of the, how to say, the penalty is not as severe as not writing unit or other things, other more fundamental things. But it can still have some penalty. So that is as far as I can answer. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And another thing, Doctor, I'm the one who sent the email about my ASA prayer timing.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So, what's your opinion? I think you would be okay with that because, for example, today I will have class till 6 to 20, from 3:30 to 6:20, and then that means that I only have 10 minutes for Hassan prayer, which is obviously not enough. Till and our Maghrib prayer is at around 6:10, 6:09 p.m., something like that. So, what you permit me to maybe do the congregational prayer at the mosque in front of me, literally, or you have anything else?
This is for the at the beginning of the class or for the
At the
because I
beginning
think
of the class.
yeah, at the beginning of the class, no problem.
No problem.
Just that you have to, if you miss the, because normally at the beginning of the class I will specify certain important notes or important information. So if
Yes.
you miss that one, just make sure you just watch back the recording. Like just
Okay.
for today, I think it's like 5 to 10 minutes. I mentioned some important things, just to not miss out on those. Just watch back the recording afterwards. Yeah,
Okay.
of course, for the information that is needed for, normally I also write on Google Classroom. For example, for today we will have a quiz at 4:30. Normally that information is also in Google Classroom. But there are some information that is more generic. Sometimes it's verbally said. So those are the things that it is advised. It's not compulsory, but just to avoid missing out important information, it is advised to just go back and see the recording if you miss it.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Got it, sir.
All right.
Uh, all right. Okay, thank you, doctor.
Welcome.
Sir, can I ask?
Yes, yes, sure.
Um, uh, we've been doing questions, and there's one part that we're not sure about. Can you like help us? The question asked to where is it? To sketch. The questions goes like this: determine the magnitudes and coordinate directions, angles of the resultant force, and sketch this vector on the coordinate system. Meaning that we need to. So it's given F1 and F2, meaning that we need to find the what we call Cartesian vector form for F1 and F2, and after we got the resultant force, we need to draw the resultant force in between those F1 and F2 in 3D, right, sir?
Yeah, that question actually specifically asks you to sketch on an already existing axis. Is it something like that?
Yeah, maybe, but I'm not sure how to like. We're not sure how to like sketch this vector.
Well, if you already have the resultant in, especially in vector form, in Cartesian vector, you have ijk component, right? X, y, z
Yes.
component. So you can know, meaning, for example, if x component is positive, so the direction of the x component direction must be towards the positive x. If the y component is negative, then it's towards that. If z component is negative, it's downwards. So just combine those, meaning it should be in that quadrant, or you
Oh,
understand?
do it have to fulfill the angles that we've got? Like we're using the alpha. We deal with alpha, beta, and gamma. So after that, we have to sketch based on those angle?
Yeah, because you mentioned the question of ask you to sketch, right? Even though in
Yeah.
our final we do not normally we do not ask you to sketch. It's just I think that kind of question is normally when you learn, they just want to see whether you can imagine where it is. But normally
I
in
see.
final, having it meaning that alpha, beta, and gamma is defining where it is. Unless they want to test you whether you understand what is alpha, beta, and gamma, right? So they ask you to sketch. But I have
Alright.
never seen in final exam, at least in final exam, I have never seen even the midterm such question.
So can I send you this question, and maybe afterward we can can you give us a little bit of the solution for this question? Is it
Sure, you can.
possible?
I can take a look.
Where should I send it to you? Is it on Telegram? Is it fine?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. All right, so it's time for you to shift your focus for your quiz. So all the best.
I have a question.
Yes.
Um, in the YouTube video, I can see that you resolve the forces in 3D so fast. How did you do that? Because I I I s- I still need to draw the two triangles, and it takes time for me, especially in the quiz just now. So uh, any tips on how to uh, uh, give the forces quicker?
I assume you have covered the crash course,
Yes,
right?
I did.
So that's where we cover about the two triangle. Now, I think if you have done multiple time that two triangle, you can imagine that two triangle after some time. Meaning that if you have done a similar calculation like 20 times, 30 times, normally that become just like whatever you have how to say become familiar with what we have learned before, right?
Uh-huh.
When we first try it takes some time, but when you can when you have done it a lot, it become you can easily imagine all the cos and sine based on the triangle. So it comes with practice basically. There's no other way.
Oh, so means that we have to practice a lot.
Yeah,
Then we can
because
imagine.
when 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 you understand that if we just have one triangle, you can do straight away, right?
Uh-uh.
But when we do the two triangle, actually one of the side is just from the other triangle. So that's why if you have done quite a number of time, then the two step become quite a short step. Just like you do one triangle, it's just uh, because if you do one triangle, normally how many seconds do you do? Just to get
5 minutes.
for one triangle, meaning that if you
No.
have the triangle, if you have just 30 degrees there, you will know that this side is sine, this side is cos, right? It's just
Uh-huh.
seconds, right? So if you can solve one triangle in seconds, normally you just multiply by 2 when you do two triangles. So it's like maybe 10 seconds. It rarely become minutes.
Okay.
But I didn't understand if it's still within minutes. Normally, that indicates that you haven't done enough times that it becomes second nature. And in the final exam, it is expected that those process is short process. Otherwise, otherwise, the issue with final exam normally is not just whether you can solve or not, but whether you can solve within the time given.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
You're
Sir,
welcome.
sir,
Yep.
the
Yes.
one I sent on Google Form is I rescaled wrongly, so that my answer was like being cut by half. I just
Scale.
realized it after I sent it to you.
What do you use for? Meaning how?
I didn't use cam scanner. I take a picture and then I convert from Word to PDF.
From Word to PDF.
Yeah.
Meaning
So
you paste the picture in Word.
yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Hmm.
So I rescaled it, but I think I accidentally pulled too long. But I already sent the right one on the Telegram.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's okay. It's just that normally when I mark I'll mark everything based on when the file received. So when you send in Telegram at that time, then that's the time that is considered. That's normally the implication. But if you just want to see whether the answer is correct or not, normally you can see that in the marking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So thank you.
Welcome.
So
Yes.
it's not a question, but I think it's not clear for me. I guess I thought that today quiz is about 3D and it's based on chapter 2.6. And after I got the questions, I was really struggled to like get this towards the questions based on 2.6 chapters. But after the quiz done, and then in the group discussion, they said that this is topic 2.8, which is I just realized, yeah, we need to use the force that along the aligned formula and concept. So basically, I think uh, it's a bit I think I'm prepared for the subtopics, but yeah, my mentality to prepare for quiz is for 3D parts of 2.6. So I think I just like destroy my quiz for now, but it's fine. But yeah, it's my mistake because like I really don't know what subtopic will be in today. And we've been doing the questions based on chapter 2.6 just now. So that's why my mind is set to that particular topic. So maybe my marks will be terrible.
Yeah. But anyway, you should have enough opportunities.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this is what we call a position vector type of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think before someone asked earlier, I think about what will be covered, but
Mhm.
he asked in the chat.
Yeah.
But
So
I said
basically, yeah.
anything that meaning just refer to the schedule. Anything that is covered there is part
Yeah.
of the.
All right. So basically, the quiz will be based on the schedule, whereas the topic cover will be in quiz will be same as what we have to cover based on schedule. Is it?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
I think the
Okay.
confusion tend to happen early on because for chapter 2, sometimes it is splitted into two shorter videos. Because I think if you look at the schedule, most of the later chapter, there's only one video, but that video is long. But in the earlier on, because when it was recorded is separate videos, so yeah, so it may
Yeah.
lead to some confusion.
Right. I'm so sorry, sir, if my marks will be terrible because I didn't solve it using the position vector concept.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it possible to solve other way? I don't think
No,
it's possible.
it's not possible at all. But yeah, I'm forcing myself to accept the bullet to solve it. And then after the quiz is done, I was thinking why this question is so hard and it's really hard to visualize the triangles and stuff. And after that, they said this is position vector. Oh my god, I'm just like yeah,
Position vector by means the R, right?
yep,
Oh.
yeah. That's 5 steps to solve basically.
I
Yeah.
can't finish the last bit of solving it in magnitude because that takes time. And I didn't finish on that one though.
Oh, it's just a matter of time, is it? Meaning you know
Yeah.
what to do, but unfortunately not enough time.
Yes, that's why I messed up the word conversion.
I messed up the whole quiz by thinking this is another chapter, but it's not. We have we have like 18 quizzes, and we will take the 8 highest mark. Is it?
Yes.
All right, I see. So I have more chances. And the next topic for the quiz is it still in topics 2 or topics 3, sir?
I think the way I'm doing it now is I keep on asking in Telegram and see what's the majority. So if everyone won a quiz on Wednesday, it will be on the last part of chapter 2.
I see. All right.
Sir,
Yes.
can we discuss this quiz next class or whenever?
Discuss on meaning about how to solve, is it?
Yes, because I think this quiz is quite tough.
Okay. Sure. No problem.
Okay, so is that mean that this Wednesday we don't have quiz?
We have to vote basically, right?
Yeah, whether we have or not, that's a separate issue then. But okay, what when you say to discuss, meaning you because it depends what you mean by that. Because to discuss anything, you can just ask anytime, even now. But do you mean that you want me to explain in front of class step by step? Meaning, what exactly do you mean by discuss? Yeah.
We
Can
oh
discuss it here, right? I think right now can.
Yeah,
Oh.
if you
For the
if you
quiz.
are
Yeah.
confused at for any particular point of that quiz, you can just ask. Because I think the two forces is calculated different way. One is using the triangles, the two triangles. One is by using the coordinates to get the R. So which one are you having trouble with, or both?
uh, well, I just confused at the decimal point
Huh? Decimal point.
because the sentence is too long and the
Two
time is too
significant
short,
figures.
and I just do two significant figures for all answers. Is it okay?
Oh, your concern is just at the final answer then. Is it? Oh, okay. Then okay, I specified that just so that I think earlier someone asked about whether there will be some penalty for not answering in three significant figures, something like that. So this question just to be how to say, to standardize the answer, I just specify as such. One is because if you round off in question like this, if you round off the number in part A because it affect part B, meaning when you want to add to get the resultant, if you use the round off value from each forces, it tend to have error in part B. So that's why I make it so that in part A everyone do not round off. But normally if it's round off, how to say, you have to have a discipline that the final answer for part A you round off, but to continue to part B you use the value before you round off to avoid that error, right? But because I haven't really explained that things explicitly, so I just make it so that student remain with two decimal point, right? Two decimal point, meaning that point something something. You can cut off there. So I'm not sure what's your concern, because I think it just that the answer is just up to the school point. No problem. It doesn't affect the way you calculate, right? It's just how you present or how you run off until which point.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Sir,
Yes.
Can you show me the solution for the quiz to question number A?
Come again. Quiz.
This quiz just now, 1A.
One. Wait.
Yeah.
Hmm. So about expressing in Cartesian vector,
Yep.
for which force do you?
For FAC, we need to use triangle, is it?
Yes. No.
For
Sorry. For FAC, this one
mm-hmm.
on the right here. No, the
No,
right
no.
here you use the coordinate.
Use the coordinate, right? For FAB, we use triangle.
Correct.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I want to know about FAC.
FAC.
How to find FAC?
Yeah. The step by step, the idea you already have, right?
Yes.
That you get the coordinate and then you
yeah.
Position vector R is just the destination coordinate minus the origin coordinate, and then you get the magnitude by square root and so on.
Sir, which point we need to be like highlight for FAC, meaning that okay, I got it. Alright, okay, continue.
All right, so simply because FAC is from A to C, so it's just C minus A.
Yeah.
Right, so C is what here?
260.
260, and then A is 004.
004.
So when you minus that, you get 2i plus 6j minus 4k, right? When you minus that coordinate of C minus coordinate of A, you get 2i plus 6j minus 4k. So to get the magnitude, you just square root of 2 square plus 6 square plus 4 square. You get some value. Of course, here you will have quite a significant decimal point. So, and then to get the unit vector is just the vector r, which is 2i plus 6j minus 4k initially, divide by the magnitude of r, which is whatever that you get from the square root there. I don't remember the value. You divide that, you get something in terms of ijk. Normally it will be 0 point something something I plus 0 point plus or minus. In this case, 0 point something something I plus 0 point something something j minus 0 point something something k. If you understand the concept of unit vector, you should know that if you get other than 0 point something, it tend to be wrong. You understand why?
Not sure.
Do you understand what unit vector is?
Unit vector, it's basically the we call the what is RAB, RAC in this case, divide by a vector divide by magnitude.
Okay, that's how you calculate, right? But what exactly is a unit vector? What is a unit vector?
What is unit vector? It's dimensionless. It has no unit, and I'm not really sure what it is really.
Okay, by the name it should because you mentioned two things, but another thing is the magnitude is 1.
Oh yeah, the magnitude is 1. Yeah, of course.
So
I
actually
see.
it define a direction, meaning the vector along that line with a magnitude of 1.
Oh, I see.
So that's basically it. So that's why when is that, you can simply multiply by. So if the magnitude is 200, you just multiply by 200. If it's whatever, because that unit vector is 1.
Always 1. So basically, if our ijk is like it's not 0.0 something, it's we can expect that it is wrong, right?
Yeah, because it will be more than 1. If your
Yeah.
ijk is more than 1, obviously it become 2, 3 or whatever when you do the calculation, right? It has to be 0 point something, 0 point something, 0 point something.
Understood.
Because some students get mistake and they still, even with that mistake, they carry on with even, meaning it shows that you do not see it logically and understand what is going on. But anyway, so you can check, right? Another way is check is when you get the ijk of the unit vector, you do the square root, it should be 1. So you have the unit vector already, and then to get the vector, you just multiply by that 200 Newton, 200 Newton multiplied by that
By that unit vector.
ijk, and then you
Yeah.
get that ijk in term of
Cartesian vector form.
the force in Cartesian vector top form.
All right.
And you can verify that as well. If you do square root, you should get 200 back. If you get something else, then obviously it's something wrong because you know the magnitude is 200.
Okay. And then sir, for FAB, we need to use the triangles, right? It's like normal way we solve it, is it? For
Yes.
FAB.
Yes.
All right.
Actually, if someone want to use position vector, is still possible because you can actually determine what is coordinate B. But actually, that is double double calculation because to get the coordinate, you actually use the triangle.
Oh yeah, because we don't know like the actual coordinate of B, right?
Yeah. But then why do you want to calculate twice when you can use the triangle to straight away just resolve the 300? So it become, in this case, 300 sine 45 3/5 negative something like that.
All right,
Or
and
you
then
can do step by step. Yeah.
okay, and then for the resultant forces, how to like determine resultant forces? Basically, we plus FAB and FAC, right?
The vector, yeah. When you
Yeah.
have the vector, you just add x component, add y component, add the z component, you get the vector of resultant.
Oh, I see. So basically, the struggle is on question A. It's just on question A, is it? Or you can say
Yeah,
that.
once you because normally in the final exam, sometimes the force is, there's a lot more forces, and I think in chapter 5 and 6, you can have 4, 5, 6 forces at the same time.
I see.
And later we will have equilibrium where we know the resultant is 0, right? You have to add everything equal to 0. So the thing is, any mistake that you do for any particular force will mess everything up, because when you get resultant, it depend on every single force is correct, right? So that's
Yeah.
why I'm always reminding that please make sure you know how to do this, because if not, whatever the rest that you learn, your mark will still be affected because you make a mistake in you make a mistake one thing, but if you do not know, then you will stuck. So that's the worst
Yeah.
case.
All right. I think that's it from me, sir.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
And once again, I'm so sorry because I
No,
misunderstand the quiz that will be asked.
no
All right.
problem.
Yeah.
I personally think that it is best to encounter. That's my personal ni lah, meaning why I like to do a lot of quiz, because I hope most students encounter many type of mistake or issues or whatever, or things that you have today,
Yeah.
so that it tend to become a reminder for us in the actual test, because in the actual test, each question carry a lot more marks, a lot more, the weight is heavier. So if you do mistake, then that's the worst case scenario lah. So might as well
Mhm.
you do all type of mistake in the quiz, and then you become that become
Yeah, I can
advantage
be
of you.
more aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Welcome.
All right. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.